Suitcase kick drum next.
How do you make the drum?
The suitcase? Alright. We'll go over this next. Okay, so I got any old suitcase. This one was just a Craigslist find that was free. I couldn't get it. Free Cycle is another good site for stuff like this. Finding a good case, something that will make that nice thud, like that when you hit it, it's great. Flat is better for a case. Okay? The contents of my case is incredibly heavy. There are many different setups with this. I use a lot of 2x4s because I like to stand when I play. So the stability of this one is a lot better than some that I've seen. Some that I've seen will use bicycle tubes, and they'll have like a cello player sit on the suitcase to hold it up. With this one, you can have like any heavy object in front of you, or you could have one of your bandmates, someone you play with, sit on it as well. A 25-pound weight will do it, but playing it while standing, it will slide if you don't have some abrasive surface under it or something sitting on it with the bicycle tube. With this one in particular, it doesn't slide too much the way I have it set up. So, the first thing I did were these L brackets. This is basically a girdle for the suitcase to sit in. So this would sit flat on the floor. I'll show you the whole setup first, then the explanation on assembling each piece will make a lot more sense. Okay. So, I like to take a pillow inside the suitcase, just like you take a pillow inside of a bass drum. You'll see a lot of players do that, or just a sheet to kind of muffle the sound. What's that?
Yeah, they do it to muffle the sound?
To muffle the sound some? Yeah. I think it'll give a much more resonant sound that could overwhelm an acoustic band if you don't have the pillow in there.
Kind of rings on this. It like keeps going. So.
Yeah, it seems.
It's like a damper.
Yeah, just basically a damper. So my basic setup, what I've done is I've taken a piece of 2-inch wide, or let's see, inch wide, and whatever the width may be here, 1/4 inch width here, to bind the two together. I'll set it up with a screw system. I'm not sure if I have the screwdriver and the screw here. Let's see. So the screwdriver's not here.
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay. Is the screw here is the question. Okay. So on this side I have this attached with a screw to the 2 L brackets. On this side I would have it attached to another screw. These two would sit flat on the floor, and the suitcase would sit within. Let's see if I can get this together. Okay, so I talked about some abrasive surface. I found a simple leather rug. This leather rug is great for sitting on the floor and playing by yourself. So once that's set up, I slip it over the leather rug. And to keep this entire system together, I use a bungee cord to go around it. Using a bungee cord is also good for attaching objects to it. Like Buddy Nut today, he plays the saw. I don't know if anyone saw him. Some of us saw him.
I didn't see it.
He uses a bunch of loop pedals, and he has a saw, he has a trumpet, tons of different things. And for his suitcase kick drum, he used a tambourine on it. He had the tambourine attached, but when I used to play with it, I have a tambourine slipped in the side of it here. So I don't use this particularly anymore because I just don't have the tambourine set up with it. So, now, you could use the bike tube setup that we talked about, or you could use that 1/4 inch piece of plywood that I have below it. Regardless, any old bass drum pedal will work. Depending on the suitcase you have, you could attach multiple objects up here to give it a good sound. The bass drum pedal was too much for me. It was too much of an abrasive sound, so I attached an old piece of a weightlifting system up here. Any foam would work, duct tape would work on the bass pedal to just kind of muffle that sound a little more. You don't want too much like high end from this bass drum system. So what I do is I take this right here, and that's how I decided to use the 1/4 inch piece of plywood, was to fit in this little clamp that would usually sit on the bass drum of a full drum kit. And I would attach it under that third piece of ply. So I just want to kind of show you the general setup of this thing before I show you how to build each component. So once this is set up, get a bass drum sound from. So, if someone's sitting on it, you can see the difference of that kind of rattly sound. Where if a cellist was sitting on this, similar sound to a bass drum, more for an acoustic band, that drum kit wouldn't overwhelm. Okay, so any old suitcase. That's how you decide to build these. So building these, the width is based on how big the suitcase is, what type of surfaces you feel like you need. I used just 2x4s. For this suitcase in particular, this was about, I guess, 2 feet long or so. Maybe more like 18 inches, something like that. So I cut 2 pieces of 2x4, 18 inches long. If I were redone it, I'd probably only cut 1 piece of 2x4. Get it a little lower to the floor, and maybe get a different bass pedal. But you could just take 1 piece of 2x4 and 2 L brackets. Wherever you place the L brackets, that's the width of the suitcase. I reinforced it with another piece of 2x4 here, so that the suitcase wouldn't bend this L bracket when it was hit by the bass pedal. So, pretty simple setup. Simple screw system on each side. 1/4-inch screws will work. Longer would be better if you do more than just 1 2x4 here. So, if you make a duplicate of those on each side, and you find something to attach between them here, like a 1/4 piece of ply, that'll be a nice girdle for your suitcase drum set. And an old bass pedal, you should be able to find something like this on Craigslist. Free Cycle is another great site for stuff like this. A lot of us probably have an old bass drum pedal sitting around if we've had musicians in our family or anything. Something like this is not that hard to come by. If you need to buy it, I wouldn't say more than 20 or 25 bucks for a cheaper one. But you can really build this for about $20 total if you do it the right way, and you look through Craigslist sites and Free Cycle and that. So, a leather abrasive surface, maybe a piece of linoleum, something like that. Anything would really work on the floor. If you're accompanying someone with you, that'd be great too. I'll show you something cool that you can do with the suitcase drum and the washboard. So with the washboard and the suitcase kick drum, you can really have like the high end and low end of percussion, which is really nice. So keeping the time with your left hands. And backing some other acoustic instruments in a group, or just playing this by yourself is really fun.